Hi everybody, today we're in Rothville, which is in Kirtland County in Missouri, and I found a new historical marker that's been put here by the Far West Missouri Stake. We are about at the midway point between Independence and Nauvoo. I didn't take the measurements, but it seems like we're maybe a little bit less than halfway to Nauvoo. But it takes about 2 hours to get here from Independence. And I don't know a whole lot about this. I just saw this on the Far West Missouri Stakes Facebook page. I know that the name of it is Release of Joseph and Hyrum, but this is the first time that I'm reading this or learning anything about it. As time goes on, I plan on learning more and more about all these sites, and we're going to revisit them. But let's go ahead and read what it says. Release of Joseph and Hyrum Smith, the 16th of April, 1839. After being imprisoned in Liberty Jail for more than 5 months in charges of treason, Joseph Smith, his brother Hyrum, and other leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints were sent to Gallatin, Missouri to face trial. And just really quick, if you don't know, Gallatin is really close to Adirondack, and there's actually a historical marker there, and I've already done a video at that location if you want to go check it out. They were granted a change of venue to Columbia. On the 16th of April, 1839, as the Smith brothers and 3 others were being loosely escorted to Columbia by 5 guards, the group stopped for the evening near this spot at the confluence of the 2 forks of Yellow Creek. The sheriff said, "I shall not go much further." 3 of the guards were soon asleep. The sheriff then told the prisoners, "I shall take a good drink of grog and go to bed, and you may do as you have a mind to do." He and a deputy gave the prisoners 2 horses, helped them load the animals, and went to bed. The 5 prisoners then left the camp and made their way to safety in Illinois. Hyrum later reported that the Gallatin judge had told the guards not to escort the prisoners all the way to Columbia. Recounting the incident at Yellow Creek, Hyrum joked that, quote, we took our change of venue to the state of Illinois." The leader's arrival in Quincy, Illinois on the 21st of April, 1839 marked the end of the church's tumultuous 1830s in Missouri. So this is a really special spot. In a way, I think that there were others, like other members of the church that were still here around this time. But obviously by this point, the main body of the church had gone to Illinois. But I feel like this spot kind of represents, like I just said, kind of like the end of the Missouri period, right here. And it's kind of far to go see, like far in relation to the other church sites, but if you have time, please, I would encourage you to come here. And if you live here in the Midwest and it's not too far, come check it out. Again, I've created a spreadsheet and a map. The link for both of those are in the description box below, so please use those as a resource. I have the exact GPS coordinates and also the street addresses and all that stuff. So if you have the time, and especially if you live here and you haven't been to all these places, please come and see them. But I feel like this one is a really significant site. Okay, so this marker was put in place in 2021. I'm gonna have to take a look at the dates for all these Far West Missouri Stake markers, because it seems like there was like a short window of time, maybe between like 2018 to 2022, 2023, that they were doing this. And I don't know if they've stopped, but I'm gonna try and track them all down. Okay, now on the other side, I didn't know about this. So this marker is from 2022. So I guess they came back here and added this later, like a year later. Excuse me. This one is called Kirtland Camp. September 1838. On the 6th of July, 1838, after 4 months of planning and preparing, more than 500 members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints left Kirtland, Ohio to gather with the Saints in far west Missouri. Organized by the Presidency of the 70, Kirtland Camp included more than 170 households, many of them destitute. They traveled the National Road to western Indiana, then departed the well-traveled highway to proceed on a more direct route to far west. The entire journey was 870 miles. On the 27th of September, the main body of Kirtland Camp arrived at the confluence of the forks of Yellow Creek near this spot and set up camp for the night. The camp journal records, in the evening, the council met to settle some difficulties and set in order some things that seemed to require attention to enable us to move in order and in peace the remainder of the journey. Traveled 22 miles today. Distance from Kirtland, 793 miles. Kirtland Camp was the first organized mass migration in the church's history. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we have a couple things that took place here at the confluence of the forks of Yellow Creek. I don't know where that is in relation to this. I wasn't looking, but yeah, this is a pretty amazing spot. Let's take a look and see what this is. I have no idea. I thought all there was just this one marker. I didn't realize that there was something on the back, a second marker. Home site of Daniel B. and Judith A. Allen from 1887 to 1917. Walter W. and Bertie M. Allen from 1922 to 1967. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Maybe prominent members of this community, I guess. If you want, it'd be great if you could look it up, maybe Google these names. Here, I'll go back in so you can pause. Maybe Google these names and put it in the comments who they were and why this area is being marked. Okay, and then right next to it, it looks like this is a flagpole, but without a flag at the moment anyway. And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's some kind of tree. I'm not very good when it comes to gardening and planting. It looks like this is a type of something that they're preserving. I don't know. If you recognize these plants, let me know in the comments. But this is just a nice, peaceful little area. It's not too far from DeWitt. I've made a video at DeWitt, but it was when I was doing the no commentary videos. But you might want to check that out. I may actually, if we have time, I may stop by there again and make another video, but this time with commentary. It's 20 miles, or no, not 20 miles, well, probably about 20 miles. It's about 20 minutes away from here to the southwest. And that was somewhere that the Saints were going to settle, and they started to settle, but it was a very temporary situation. The Missourians started to essentially lay siege to the city, and so they weren't getting, I guess, supplies that they needed, and so they ended up having to leave. And they have a historical marker there. But this is really neat. I guess this is probably like the city park for Rothville. Am I remembering the name of this town? Or did I already forget? As far as I know, this is the only church site that's in this county, Chariton County. But if there are more, I'll come back and we'll make sure to record it. Yeah, this is a nice little area. I mean, it's all like older equipment, but I like it. I love these small towns. I do wonder how old this playground equipment is. I mean, this one right here, it looks like the seats have been taken off of it. But I'm sure at some point there were a lot of kids that had a good time with this merry-go-round thing. Got this red building here. It's like a red outhouse, I guess, for the park. Doesn't look like it's currently in operation though. Yeah, I probably wouldn't try using this. Oh, there's a toilet in there, but it's not very accessible at the moment. And then there's a dirt road that goes to somewhere. I'll tell you what though, I love living here in the Midwest. I'm originally from Utah, Murray in the Salt Lake Valley. And after I got home from my mission, I went to the Spain-Barcelona mission. I thought I had it all figured out. I never thought that I would leave Utah. I was going to school for accounting, and I just pictured, you know, getting married and finding a nice house and, you know, some development like a lot of people do. But that's not how it turned out, and I'm so glad. Back in those days, I mean, if I was to think about moving to the Midwest, it would have felt like moving to another country. It might as well be moving to another country, just with how different everything is. But over time, career plans changed. I went into aircraft dispatch. Well, I got licensed as an aircraft dispatcher, but then after that went into the military, which was kind of my first introduction to living outside of the Intermountain West. We had lived in Arizona before moving to Texas. That's where I was stationed at Fort Hood. And we really liked it in Texas. And then, just to make a long story short, we wanted to homestead after the Army, and we couldn't find any affordable property anywhere west of Kansas, and we ended up in Kansas. And then I started my YouTube channel, the other one, Christian Homestead. And then we ended up needing a bigger house, and we started looking at the Kansas City area because it just made sense. And here we are. And I love it. I really, really do. It's beautiful. I mean, I miss Utah, and I miss Arizona, and I miss Texas. I miss Kansas even. You know, because this part of the Midwest is different from where we were living in Kansas. But I'm really growing to love this area with all the greenery, all the farms, even the Kansas City area itself. As time goes by, I'm getting more and more familiar with it. It's becoming more and more comfortable, and I'm really loving living in Independence. And I love going to downtown Independence because they're renovating the whole place, and it's looking really nice. It's really quaint. You have all these like little shops and restaurants, and I want to explore it some more. But it's the perfect place to live, it turns out, to explore all these church sites. I kind of feel like that's one reason why we've been led there, because when I first moved here, I think I've said this before in another video, but when we first moved here, I thought all there was really was just the Independence Visitor Center, the Temple Lot, Liberty Jail, Richmond with the 2 cemeteries, Hans Mill, Far West, and Adamantiaman. In my mind, when we first moved here, that was pretty much all that there was to see. And it's turned out that there is so much more. There's just so much more to see. And I haven't even gone to all of it. And I know this because there's a few other places that I know of that I need to go and film. And I don't know where it ends. Here, let's sit down here for a second. My wife and daughter went to a gas station because they had to use the bathroom. I guess the gas station that they went to, it's about 15 minutes away. And at this point, the video is about 15 minutes long. So they'll probably be coming back, well, in another 15 minutes. But anyway, what was I saying? It's just, it's amazing to discover all these church sites, and I don't know how many more there are. Not just in Missouri, but of course I'm gonna go beyond, and I've already gone to one in Iowa. I've gone to Nebraska because you have winter quarters there, and then of course you have Nauvoo. And it's gonna take time. So when I first started this channel, I was like, is this even a good idea? Because what, I'm gonna record, you know, 6, 7, 8 different places and then be done? And no, it's just gonna keep coming. It's just gonna keep coming. New places. And then I also plan on, you know, looping back around and recording the same places over again and studying them and learning more and sharing what I learn on this channel. So this channel is gonna go for quite a while unless the Lord has other plans. But I'm so happy to be at this one today. You know, because I've heard that story a couple times, how Joseph Smith and the others were allowed to escape. And whenever you hear these stories, you kind of like, you know, you get a picture in your mind of what that would have looked like. It's like you have this like movie kind of play out in your mind. But to actually come here is just something else. And that's why I think it's important to visit church sites, and why I want to do this channel, because if you cannot make it here, then I want to bring it to you so you can get a sense of what it's like. It makes it more real. You feel more connected to this history, this very important history. Sorry, just really quick, I want to point out this random outlet that's sticking out of the ground. I wonder what that was used for. Excuse me. But isn't it so neat to be in a place that could represent the end of the church in Missouri, and now here I am in 2025 when we have 2 temples in operation in St. Louis and then also in Kansas City. There's a 3rd one that's been announced in Springfield, and they haven't done the groundbreaking yet, I don't think, last I checked. But so we have like these 3 temples in Missouri, and then I don't know how many stakes we have, but just within the last several months, like 2-3 months, there's been 3 new stakes created in the Kansas City area. We're coming back. You know, this was kind of a dismal time, the departure of Joseph Smith and Hyrum Smith and the Saints leaving Missouri, but it's starting to be reversed, and that is really exciting to see. I'm so happy I was here to see the dedication of the Charles C. Rich cabin, because that's another location that kind of really represented that area. You have the temple site proper, but you also have the Charles C. Rich cabin, the only surviving structure from the far west period. And just like a month ago, I saw it dedicated and a statue of Charles C. Rich unveiled, and I have that video in case you missed it. Just go back a few videos. So things are happening here, and I don't know, it just makes me so happy. But okay, well, I think that's gonna be it for this one. Like I said, I may stop by DeWitt on the way back and we're gonna find more sites and I'll have more videos for you. I'll talk to you guys later.